Why would a family go to extreme attempts to destroy the credibility of their neighbor? What is it that the neighbor has that they want? Why threaten an individual who has no connection to you? Why spread malicious rumors and lies about the individual being an obeah woman, a sodomite, an adulterer, a pedophile, etc.? Why have people stalking and harassing the individual? Why use gangs to intimidate the individual? Certainly, this aggressive need to destroy an individual's credibility would move a well-thinking person to question the perpetrator's integrity. So in my quest for truth, I stumbled upon a great mystery. What could two women who never met each other, different religious backgrounds, different family backgrounds, and their homes are in different communities, possibly share in common that caused them to suffer the same or similar experience of community-based harassment or organized gang stalking? What does this house have to do with these two women? What light is shed by this individual that makes us wonder if we are dealing with a psychopath? Please do not forget to subscribe if you do not want to miss out as I take you along on my hunt to solve this criminal gang stalking mystery in Claremont Heights, Old Harbour, St. Catherine, Jamaica. Being a victim of crime is difficult, frustrating, and frightening. Being a victim of harassment is particularly difficult because it is not just one type of act such as theft, assault, or arson. Instead, harassment can involve several violations of different laws. Harassment is also disturbing because the harasser's true intent and motivations are difficult to determine from the behavior. Harassment covers a wide range of offensive behavior. It is commonly understood as behavior intended to disturb or upset, and it is characteristically repetitive. In the legal sense, it is intentional behavior which is found threatening or disturbing. While much information is on the World Wide Web regarding harassment and its various forms, nothing specific is available under Jamaican laws as found on the Ministry of Justice's website. It is hoped that the information presented may make someone in high office review the laws as it relates to community-based harassment. Community-based harassment is nothing new in Jamaica. Both Inspector Salmon of the Greater Portmore Police Division and Mr. Kelly of the St. Catherine Parish Council alluded to the fact that they may have been victims of community-based harassment in that they both said they had to leave their homes because of the community. Mr. Salmon alleged that he was from the Mineral Heights community, and Mr. Kelly alleged that he was from some community in St. Thomas. In responding to a report about the nuisance generated by the dog breeding operation, both men cautioned me that I too would become a victim of community-based harassment to the point that I would have to move from the community. However, my harassment has nothing to do with the reporting of the dog breeding operation. My harassment occurred long before I even realized the man had a dog business. In fact, my harassment was strategically planned before I even moved on the premises. It should be noted that acquiring a home through the National Housing Trust scheme system does not afford you the luxury of selecting the home you may desire. You are arbitrarily given a lot by chance. So even if I had not moved here, and if another single woman was given the lot, she too would have suffered the same fate. As you journey with me on my pursuit of justice, this too will become evident to you. We have already established via the police, the parish council, and private investigators that the neighbor and his female counterparts are fraudulently presenting themselves as vet. Imagine, when I first moved to the scheme, the man told me that he used to work at the power plant in Old Harbour Bay. However, he fell in a hole and this affected his heart. Overnight, he is portraying himself as a vet. We have already seen that registered veterinarians must abide by a code of ethics and a veterinarian oath. And so far, the activities of these individuals fall extremely short and far from the basic standards. Recall, according to the JVMA's Code of Ethics, the veterinarian must first of all be a good citizen and be responsible to the society by respecting all local laws. Note, the following are only excerpts as details will be provided in the future. How does the contravention of the Divide and Fence Act prove that the fake vet business is in part a cover-up for an extortion racket? What is extortion? It is the obtaining of either money, property, or services from persons, entity, or institution through coercion, that is, compulsion, force, intimidation, bullying, oppression, cruelty, and duress. Under Jamaican law, the boundary fence that adjoins two property must be constructed by both proprietors after reaching an agreement in cost and type. Exceptions may apply if A. one contacting this individual. In such a case, a written notice must be attached to a conspicuous place on the premises outlining the intention. B. According to Mr. Craig Francis, Gleaner columnist, Matter of Land, if both parties are living on their respective properties and one owner decides to construct the fence without consultation or agreement, he or she may do so if he or she has no intention of asking for assistance in the cost. But the fence must comply with the criteria outlined in the Divide and Fence Act. Additionally, Mr. Francis noted that while this is possible, being a good neighbor would dictate otherwise. Shortly after acquiring the property in 1996, I came home one evening to see a constructed divided fence. The fence was erected without any consultation with me. According to the proprietor of Lot 299, he had to hurry and put up the fence because of the number and type of his dogs. Additionally, he said he did not know where the peg was, so he got a surveyor to survey the place. Taken aback, I simply replied that I would have to give him some money. However, I decided to do some research before parting with any money. While building my perimeter fence, which was not a dividing fence, the contractor pointed out to me that the dog breeder built the fence incorrectly by placing his fence some 31 inches behind the government boundary peg that was placed at the back of the property. The dividing fence, under law, should have the peg centered. If the fence uses 6-inch blocks, then the peg should be so positioned that 3 inches is on the left and 3 inches is on the right of the peg. As regards the boundary peg at the front of the property, it appeared as if he went further and removed that one. According to Mr. Craig Francis, the peg should not be moved during construction. After the construction and painting of my fence, the fake vet brought his painter to paint a section of my fence gray. My mother brought the police, who instructed them to repaint my fence. During the visit of the police, the fake vet kept repeating, "Fence take up my land, fence take up my land." That is, the fence that he built took up his land. However, he was saying this in a way to imply that I built the fence and stole his land. Such behavior is described as unscrupulous, that is, having no moral principles, not honest or fair. So note what has happened so far. Displaying the characteristics of a bad neighbor, the man builds the dividing fence without consultation, contrary to the spirit of the Dividing Fence Act, and 2, unscrupulously tells the police that the fence takes up his land. I proceeded to contact the legal department of the National Housing Trust, which advised me that I had nothing to worry about since I did not build the fence. I went even further to obtain a copy of the scheme layout from the land titles office, since they did not have the individual lot layout at the time. This was to ascertain the size of my lot and to see how the dividing fence affected the premises. After measuring the back of the property, the contractor warned me, "Be careful, for when people plan for wicked, them plan from early." He then proceeded to point out the dishonesty associated with the construction of the dividing fence. He was able to point these out as he was from Old Harbor, knew of the fake vet, and I was not from Old Harbor. The fake vet deviously gave me a piece of his property, started a malicious rumor saying fence take up his land, send his gang stalkers to call me a parasite that is living off his property, and proceeded to have me gang stalk so he could extort my property. I will deal in a future video 1. The Dividing Fence Act, 2. The criteria that should be met by the dividing fence, 3. How the fence failed to meet the criteria, how the man has been sending people to destroy the fence that I built, how the fence he built facilitated him accessing my property without being seen, and 6. The time allowed by law to have the correction done. Riddle me this, guess me this riddle, and perhaps not. If someone is so powerful, why are they living among the powerless? Why are they not living on a 5-acre property where they cannot be a nuisance to anyone? If someone is so powerful, why do they need a gang to target elderly single women? When is a nuisance a constitutional right? A family may have a newborn that cries incessantly and loudly, especially at night. For adjoining neighbors, this could be a nuisance, but it is a constitutional right for the family with child. But is this a constitutional right? Showing absolutely no regards for families with child, workers who have to work shift, menstruating women, menopausal women, the elderly, plainly no one. What I found hilarious was when I heard one of their gang members cry out, "Mr. Parchment, you must remember we are women." The same woman he sent to call me parasite. The noise the dogs make has been a subject of many citizen association meetings as confirmed by Mr. Junior Collins and the Public Relations Officer of the National Housing Trust. According to the Noise Abatement Act, in reference to both instrumental sound and singing, it says if the sound can be heard over a distance of 100 meters, it is too loud. If you want to know how loud these dogs are, turn up your television to the maximum volume and imagine not hearing it because of this external sound. In the spirit of the Noise Abatement Act, the government of Jamaica need to review the law, as these dogs can be heard beyond 100 meters. They violate the nuisance regulation found in various laws and disrupt public peace and violate constitutional rights. It should be noted that Mr. Thompson from the Compliance Department came and removed the dogs off the property on February 9, 2009. By the 25th, the dogs were returned. How come? Corruption. When I walked into Mr. Christopher Powell's office as Secretary Manager of the St. Catherine Parish Council, I thought I was looking at the dog breeder. Nepotism? No one can convince me that the dog breeder and Mr. Powell are not related unless they show me a DNA test. According to Mr. Powell, the man's lawyer says he's not doing anything wrong. Imagine that. Which lawyer that? He went to the same institution as the fake vet, obviously, which would make him a fake lawyer as well. Impersonating a vet, breeding dangerous dogs in a residential area, and being a nuisance. Nothing wrong with those. In the Jamaican tongue, them take big man and big woman for fool. The law is available at the fingertips of people. Then, he said, that is Mr. Powell, the Public Health Department has the matter dealing with. What did the Public Health Department say? They can't find the house of the dog breeder. Imagine that. A public health officer lives 2 doors away from the dog breeder, and the health department cannot find the house of the offending property. This is beyond corruption and the painting of an image of organized crime. What is it that these people are doing with their dogs that transform the parish council and the public health department to a set of impotent cowards and liars? The result of this cover-up? The dog breeder's boast is no parish council, police, or public defender's office can stop me from doing what I'm doing on my property. Don't you see the vehicles that come to me? Jamaica is not serious about reducing crime and violence. By putting the wrong people in public offices that are prepared to betray the public's trust and turn a blind eye to various violations of laws, they are empowering criminals and increasing the crime rate in the country. Shame on you. What clues does the JVMA's Code of Ethics provide to help us understand why this fake vet can operate with impunity? 1. Members of the JVMA are liable to cover up for these fake vets. This may be the reason why Dr. Cardigan said the matter is complicated and have different levels. So depending on who in the JVME is supporting this fake vet, according to Dr. Cardigan, the matter is hard to deal with. 2. The other clue is found in the Code of Ethics is the possibility of the contravention of the Dangerous Drug Act. As shown previously, international news has already publicized that vets are using dogs as drug mules. With dangerous drugs, there are gangs, and where there are gangs, there is corruption. Jack Mandora, me not choose none.